that cup, it's supposed to be. Me and my girl, me and my girl, sipping on tea, filling our cup, fill it up. Supposed to be at the Tea Party Podcast. Just grab a glass and have some laughs. Tea Party Podcast.
I wrote to make room for the answer.
Whoa. Girl.
What's up, guys? I'm Eldreion, and you are now tuned in to the Tea Party Podcast. I have my co-host here with me.
Hi, I'm Destiny.
My name is Roni. What's going on, y'all?
And today we're interviewing a very special guest, the mastermind of the Write It Down series, Toya, aka Goldn.light, is her Instagram and YouTube handle. So today we're going to talk about healing. And I just want to talk to Toya a little bit here because I found it so comforting first of all, that she was so organized into journaling, because that's something that I am definitely trying to kind of, get better with in my life in general. But I wanted to talk to Toya a little bit about, how did you come up with this idea? Like, what started your journey with journaling? Why journaling?
So journaling has been something that I always went to ever since I was young. And I get this question asked a lot, and I was really trying to remember at what age I started journaling, but there's time periods where I can remember when I was 9, when I was 14. So it always felt like it's been a part of my life. I wasn't always expressing myself to people, so I found myself dumping my thoughts and trying to sort through things by writing. So whether it was poetry, stories, connecting with my emotions and things like that, journaling has always been a part of my life. My experience with journaling has expanded, as I got older and I had different experiences. I always went to journaling. So I feel like it's always something that has been a part of my life.
Okay, I can definitely relate to that. I was just reading the book, The Akashic Records, and it was talking about pretty much like, there was a guy in the book who felt like he lost his voice. He caught laryngitis, which I just got over laryngitis. I'm still getting my voice back. And as a singer, that really played on my mental, because I wasn't used to not being able to sing all the time. But then I started to think about all the moments I didn't speak up about certain things. So I started journaling as well. And I started watching your page and doing your journal prompts. And it really helped me. And I was like, okay, hold on now. Because this ain't just regular, write it down in your diary. You know what I mean? It's more like, hey, I have this journal prompt that I feel like you should follow today. You have cards. Like, I want you to talk more about that, because I really feel like this is beneficial. Like, this could be beneficial to everyone.
Yes. Journaling and writing in general is such a therapeutic tool, and especially when you're trying to get in tune with yourself and you're asking yourself these questions that you go on a journey, in a sense, through journaling to explore, to answer. And sometimes you write down even new questions for yourself that you may not have the answers for right then and there, but you'll get them later on in life or through meditation. It's such a spiritual practice as well, because even for me, I feel like a lot of the times that intimate moment that I'm making with myself to journal and write out my thoughts, it's a connection that I also have with the spirit. So sometimes I feel like I'm scribing the things that I need for my healing through the spirit.
Oh yeah. Oh, most definitely. I feel like I could definitely relate to that, because going to the word, going to the scriptures is one thing that I find to be very, very beneficial when I'm going through anything. So finding that spirit within my own spirit, which I feel like is in tune with the Most High Spirit, definitely helps me to figure just everything out, even if it's just like calming my mind down through meditation, or just calling up one of my friends and their spirits like aligning with mine. Usually we help each other out by just talking about our problems. Even if like you're going through something, sometimes even hearing somebody else out can help you and be like, man, I was just trying to figure out what to do about XYZ. So
I want to commend you for being open about your therapeutic way. your journalism and the way you're doing and what you're doing and sharing that with others, because I feel like that may give other people, you know, that idea to maybe start doing. Because a lot of people have like these feelings build up and these emotions build up and don't really know what to do with them. And I feel like that offered an option for them. So I definitely commend you being more open about, you know, what you talk about, what you experience, and how you get through, you know, these everyday feelings or experiences that other people probably go through as well, you know.
So
Thank you.
definitely commend you for that.
It's definitely a process, even for me, because, you know, I felt like the first thing I had to do was be honest with myself with a lot of things, and that's what journaling helps with. And then the next step is, you know, whenever you're ready, and whenever I feel like I'm ready to get to a place to share with others. And just being able to do that is not only healing for me, but it invites that opportunity to exchange with others. And you realize that there's a lot of things, even though we're on separate journeys, there's a lot of things that we're dealing with. You know, when I opened up about being a people pleaser and how I had to work through that, there was a lot of people that spoke up and said they realized that they were a people pleaser too. And, you know, even though it was something I initially felt ashamed about, I was like, I felt like nobody else really had this issue. It was just me. You know, it was an isolated type of thing, even though, you know, I can't be the only one in a sense, but that's how sometimes it feels. But definitely starting to be honest with myself, to not only write out what I'm feeling, and then taking it a step further to say it, you know, by saying it and share with other people, it makes it even more real, but it's definitely a part of, you know, the journey as well for me.
I remember sitting outside one day, and I was just like, I don't know, it was sunny out. I was like, let me just go outside. And I was like, well, I'm out here, you know, I put on my AirPods, I was listening to music and all that. I was like, let me go grab my notebook. So I grabbed my notebook and I'm writing. And I mean, I'm just writing my thoughts, you know, whatever's coming to me, and talking about how I'm feeling. I remember like the kids came up to me and I wrote in there, I said the kids just came. And you know, like I was just literally writing everything that came to me and that was happening around me. I mean, the birds were chirping, like I was just in that moment, and that is therapy. Like, you know, like just being able to surround yourself, like, and just, I don't know, embrace everything that's going on around you. I mean, nature, the kids, the noise, whatever, but just being able to intake that. And then I realized, like, once I was writing it, when I read back over it, I relived those moments, you know, like I felt as if I was still outside, you know, so it's just like, I like that part. And so I do feel like journaling is great, even though I was just writing a little story or whatever. But I mean, just being able to write that on paper and then going back and looking at it and then be like, man, I remember that. You know, like that reflection. I mean, it felt good, and I was like, I gotta do this more often, but I ain't never go back to do it. So I need to, you know, hold myself accountable to really do that, because it felt good. I felt like I was releasing a lot and just having fun with it, vibing out. Like, it don't have to be all deep every time, you know. It can just be what's going on around you, you know, something light. Like, and I just found like some joy in that, and I was like, oh, this is.
As you were saying that just made me think of like, for those times where you like feeling upset or sad and just resorting back to that, and it'll make you smile. You know what I'm saying? Like I can definitely,
especially if you overcame it, you know what I'm saying? Or you're overcoming, like it makes you empowered. Like, man, I ain't going back to that. You know what I'm saying? Them days is over. So, man, I'm telling you, I felt good reading.
I wonder how we got away from that, because I remember like being a little girl and being excited when I got like my first diary. You know, I felt like my mom like kind of was like, here's your diary, and it was like, oh my gosh, I got my little lock and key. Ain't nobody going by my diary. So I read your diary, it was like, I can't believe you read it. Of course, it was like such a so cute in class, and now it's like, as an adult, man, journaling, sometimes I don't even feel like actually physically writing it down. Depending on what I'm feeling at the time, I'll just like talk to my phone, you know what I mean? Or I've done like videos to myself to go back and look on, like manifesting. And what I love, Toya, is that you talked about that too, like how it's okay to write it down sometimes, to just getting it out is really what's important. I like how you said also that you had to admit some things to yourself and take that accountability, because that's something that we've been talking about, Destiny, a lot too, like taking accountability. And I think we talked about it too, Roni. I've been really looking at myself lately like, girl, who are you? You know what I mean? Like, what do you stand for? What do you like? What do you want to change?
Yeah.
You know, and it actually helps with not being so, what can I say, defensive. You know, when people bring up things that probably are like, hold on, I was hiding that really well. You know, or hold on, I haven't faced that yet. Mind your business. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's okay. It's okay to be accountable. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to look, man, we just finished our last episode of social media. Social media creating this illusion that everybody got it all together. You know what I mean? And I know a couple people that don't, including myself. So it's like, you don't have to put all your business out there, but at the end of the day, you have to face you. And journaling is one of those. I feel like that's a gemstone that a lot of people aren't taking advantage of, to just talk to yourself. If you can't have a conversation with yourself, who can you have a conversation with?
I definitely have
It's okay to talk to yourself.
I know.
It's okay to get
I'm
to
bad
know you.
with that. I'm bad with that. Being in the house, my fiance is like, "Are you talking to yourself?" And
I talk to me because I'm like,
I gotta talk out loud.
Yeah, I mean,
hear it back.
I feel like when I'm talking to myself, I'm problem solving too. Like,
Definitely,
you know,
whatever works. I'm you.
You know,
It's
like
like,
I'm just thinking.
Even if other people think it's crazy.
Sometimes when
It
you
works
say
for
stuff
me.
out loud too,
Yeah.
it don't. It processes different. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because it could be sounding like a whole bunch of whatever in here, but once you say it, like, man, it actually really ain't that deep. You know, I'm tripping. You know, like, so putting it out in the atmosphere and then being able to receive whatever you get from that. I mean, it can definitely help how you handle different situations. I've realized that personally, just saying a situation out
I
loud.
definitely can relate to that, definitely. Because I do always say, you know, self-awareness, it's the first step, and it's also a big step as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think a lot of people run from that.
Yes.
Shadow work.
Yeah, look, for
we were
real.
just talking about that. I was just talking about that with our videographer Khadijah last night, because I didn't even realize, like, doing that inner work. I was actually telling her we're going to be interviewing Toya, and I was like, yeah, she talks a lot about journaling and inner work, and she was like, oh yeah, doing shadow work, and I was like, is that the same thing? She was like, yeah. So that I was like, okay, it's funny how different people have different names and different cultures have different things and different beliefs have different things, but at the end of it all, when you go back to spirit, go back to source, it's kind of the same, man. Like, you know what I mean? The truth is the truth. So it's like, when you face the truth of yourself, I feel like there's no wrong in that. You're trying to make yourself a better person, to be a better person in the world. You can't really change the world around you until you change yourself, because our minds and our mental make up our reality, is what I'm coming to understand.
It's important to get in tune, just like you were mentioning before about being present and being able to describe the things that's around you, the things that you see, the things that you smell, the things that you touch, and being able to communicate with yourself in that way. Because there's different levels to that, it's also being able to expand your awareness when you are upset, or, you know, trying to understand where you may have jealousy, or maybe you're feeling a little anxious. Just these different emotions that we do have, and sometimes we can process them and sometimes we can't, but just being able to be aware of the things that you're doing and things that you're saying. So that connection with yourself is great, and journaling helps you to do that. And you mentioned before, like video or talking out loud, there's sometimes where I have too much adrenaline and I don't really want to sit still too right. And I need to use my voice. I got to hear myself say it. I need to speak it.
Yeah.
And that's why I love doing voice memos. And sometimes I haven't done it in a while, but, you know, doing videos just for me to have that reflection, because all of it is a reflection as well. Being able to listen back to or replay a voice memo, you know, I get to hear my tone. I get to hear sometimes the things that you can't catch when you're actually saying it. And then the way that you can judge yourself, you know, to see what areas of yourself that you want to work on, the areas of yourself that you may realize that you don't really love as much as you thought, and now you
are speaking.
Girl, you better talk that talk, cause me.
Yeah, I just personally had like an experience where, you know, through text, you kind of just miss everything. Tone, intentions, all
perception
that.
is
Yeah,
always
so
different.
that's just not the best way to communicate, especially when, you may be in a little argument, whatever the case may be. But when you kind of sit back and read the text and you're like, dang, I probably should have said that to myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
so it's
I have responded if I received that.
Yeah, so I'm just like, oh man. Look, so
that's
now I'm about to
your
just write it down, reread it a couple times, and be like, all right.
Have y'all ever pre-wrote your text before you
Oh,
send
definitely.
it? Like, hold on, let me make sure this is right.
Spell check everything.
Because I do need to make sure the tone is right in
I
this.
experience that when I have to confront someone with something, like a concern. I do that with my fiance all the time. He'll tell you, I have to put in my notes because I will forget. Like what I want to say, I'm kind of like pinpointing, bulleting my thought because the emotional take over, and I'll start going all different kinds of directions. I need to have something to keep me.
This is exactly
because in my journal, I wrote down.
Right. Like I'll be like, no, I'll have my phone be like.
Wait, Roni,
Yeah.
you do not pull out your phone.
I do have my phone.
In the middle of the argument?
It's not an argument. It's just a it's just like
creative discussion.
Yeah.
My bad.
There we
so
go.
look, in the middle of the creative discussion.
It'll be something like, look, I need to talk to him about this. How am I gonna come to him with this?
I can picture her
how am
saying,
I-
hold on, it's right here.
I'm like, what else did I have to say?
Right.
The whole time I don't have it out though, but I'm like, let me make sure I got everything.
Let me make sure I went through every single thing.
She's like, damn, I deleted it by accident.
Right, because later on, I'm like, dang it, I forgot to say that, but I don't want to bring it back up because we good.
But that's a good way to use your phone though, because honestly, I need to utilize my phone more than just texting and social media and whatever. The basis. Like, I just realized that I could really record a voice message, not a voice note, but like just go and record and hear myself. Like, I knew it, but I just never utilized it. It's there. Like, I feel like sometimes we have all the tools, but we're not using
That'd be
them.
my go-to.
So I'll definitely, because when you said sometimes just recording yourself or having something that you can play back, I think that sounds really good too. Just so you can catch everything and reflect. So definitely utilize your phone because it's good for more than just texting and all that.
Definitely. I want to know, what has been your favorite journal prompt, or do you have one?
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm really not good at favorite anything.
I think it's the Gemini thing.
But I feel like now I notice that I wouldn't say I necessarily have one particular favorite prompt, but I would say maybe a theme or a concept. I kind of enjoy the things that are not always full of light or on the good side in a sense. So sometimes like I'm inspired by my triggers even though they don't feel good initially.
Yes.
And because I'm starting to notice how much more they help me to purge things out of myself so that I can get to the place that I truly see myself in. So sometimes I kind of like those deep, dark things that kind of make you really uncomfortable. And I may not be able to do the prompt that same day, and sometimes it's not a prompt, sometimes it's really like, reflecting on something that may have happened or a thought that came back to me or a situation that recently happened or whatever the case may be. And now I'm feeling this way and I'm like, I don't want to sit with this anymore. I feel like once I've been able to get to a point of being honest, like my spirit don't let nothing slide no more.
Right.
It's like, okay. I need this.
I know that's right.
Prompts because they help me get to another level within myself. And sometimes that discomfort, as much as sometimes I don't like it, is really fruitful.
Yes.
I
I love that. That just hit something in me because I feel like I said, my thing with feeling like sometimes I'm not heard or like I'm not speaking up. I feel like once you learn how to check yourself, you have no problem checking other people, but in a correction type of form. You know what I mean? Not necessarily like, I go by, treat others as you want to be treated. And I feel like it's sometimes we don't show ourselves that same kindness or compassion or that same, sometimes even that same firm hand. You know, sometimes
giving ourselves the benefit.
Yeah, or sometimes we expect things from other people that we don't even require from ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can't expect someone to be upfront with you or honest with you when you walking past all your issues every day, you know? So I love that you said that. That definitely resonated with me just now.
I feel like often too, I mean, we always resort to the good things about us, you know? And I think that's just how we're living now. Like, everybody just wants to see the good. You know, everyone always portrays the good.
Right.
That goes back to our social media episode. But when you actually sit down and be like, you know what? No, I'm ready to fix myself. Like, something ain't right internally. Like, my spirit, you know, whatever. And you actually get the pinpoint, okay, my tone, you know what I'm saying? Then you start to realize, whoa. Now you're looking at how you may be treating people, you know, how people are receiving things that you say. So just like really being able to like you said, get in tune with yourself and to know yourself. And doing that by journaling. I mean, you can writing. Like, just writing. That's crazy.
Right.
Like,
I think I focus too much on my negative characteristics and my negative qualities. I don't, you know, reflect on those good things as much as I should. You know, and I know that though. So like I said, that self-awareness is that first step. So I know that, okay, what do I do with that next? You know what I'm saying? How do I reflect on my good qualities, you know what I'm saying, to make me feel better, you know what I'm saying, and not be so focused on those negative things.
well, what's your follow-up after you face your negatives? Like, say you were to write something down about yourself and you're like, all right, I see this. How do you follow up with that? Or are you just so focused on fixing this and not reminding yourself, but hey, X, Y, and Z is still good. You know what I'm saying? Like, lightening that, I don't know, that pressure on yourself.
I try to reflect on, like, how I can, like, reshape that or whatever. Okay, what do I do with this? And I think that's what gets me. You know what I'm saying? How do I, like, stop focusing on this? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do I do next? What's the next step? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I do, I'll take to like YouTube or social media, because YouTube's good for, you know, seeing if other people are feeling the same way. Like, for example, Goldn.light. Just looking at what they do as, like, you know, a therapeutic or another option to get through what they're getting through or whatever. Not trying to think of certain things or, you know, not trying to be in such like a negative
headspace.
I love how those situations also help me to expand, because I can relate to what you're saying as well, like being so focused on the negative that don't really highlight the good. So I would ask myself, why? Because that's something that I feel like I just picked up yesterday. So like, that's something else, that's something where like becomes a self-prompt. You know, I'm always focusing on the negative. I'm struggling with focusing on the good, but why? Like, what is causing me to
That is the big
constantly
question.
attach to
Why?
the
negative? Yes. Like, what is it? Like, what is it? And I think I relate it to you because I, like, the darkness, I can, for example, in my notes, I can, when I'm feeling bad, I'll write about how I'm feeling, like poetry, because I can really depict how I'm feeling in that moment through words. And it ends up being something beautiful in the end. But like at that time, it's just what I'm feeling, you know. And I'm using my my comparisons, my metaphors and similes, because that's what I'm feeling at that moment. This is what I'm feeling, you know. But you know, for example, Destiny, you were writing down the good. Like, it was just random things, but it was just life. You know what I'm saying, in general. And I feel like that's good. That's joy. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I should probably focus on right now more.
I was crying that day. So.
Look. There's good, but there's bad.
Yeah,
that's
my
true too.
voice
That's true.
notes and my audios, I be a wreck, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's really just me crying and praying and getting it out, and I'm just like, okay, I feel better now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it is releasing, though.
It is release.
Finding healthy ways to release those emotions, like journaling and then voice notes and stuff like that, because sometimes people don't know how to release properly or beneficial, you know, effectively.
And then comes abuse, drug abuse, and different things like that to help cope, you know, unhealthy.
And I can say it helped. It did help.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, like, me being able to pour all that onto my phone, my notes, you know, it really did help afterwards because I was like, okay, like I put that all out. Or even just venting to like my fiance or just getting it out.
Yeah.
Getting out any way that works for you.
Because that weight sometimes is too much to carry, and if you're somebody that's used to carrying a lot of weight, sometimes you can go like a farther length before you realize like, okay, this is way too much.
That's what I was about to
being
ask
able
you.
to thought dump is a way where you can get clarity because, and I feel like that's how sometimes the spirit moves as well. Like you can't see and you can't hear because of everything that you're covered in. So just being able to like write out confusion is not even to say like when I wrote I found the answer. It's like I wrote to make room for the answer.
Whoa.
Girl, okay, hold on. Let me write.
Wait, did y'all catch that?
That just made so much sense, man. Like journaling is just a part.
Yeah, it's the starting point. Like, okay, now you've realized this is what's going on. Now dig deeper. My thing is, Toya, because I am an overthinker. I will think something from A to Z real quick. So when I am writing or am in deep thought, I go deep. So I'm thinking, okay, the worst case scenario sometimes, and it's not always that. So how do we balance taking things just as it is and dealing with it and then not recreating something that's not even there? You know what I'm saying? Because I can sit here and say, all right, my tone is something that I need to work on. I'm writing this down, you know, I'm journaling about it. All right, well then that tone can go into, you know, how I handled a situation in 8th grade. And then that goes all the way back to, you know, 2nd grade. And then it goes back to, well, why did my mom, you know, whatever. So it's just like, how do we balance from drowning in our own thoughts? You know, that's the thing.
With journaling is the meditation aspect of it. So sometimes before I even write, I'll sit in meditation. And I will allow, you know, just do breathing exercises, and then I would sometimes journal. And then after I journal, sometimes I go back into a meditation. I'm an overthinker too, and sometimes in the meditations I'm overthinking, or when I'm journaling, I'm trying to write like 40 thoughts at the same time because my mind is just going all over the place. So sometimes it's like, well, I really can't write that fast, you know, but just being able to control within yourself, like that balance sometimes is just the discipline and the control. So like if I see myself going too far one way and my emotions are too invested, and then I'm like over analyzing, I'm overthinking, and then like my breathing is picking up and I feel like I'm getting, you know, anxious, then I have to release from the writing and then go back to being present and then fill my cup by the self-talk, you know, recognizing that I'm overthinking.
I'll drink to that. Yeah. Fill your cups, y'all. Okay.
I like that. I like that.
And it's a process because sometimes you feel yourself like, okay, I just calmed myself down, but then I went right back into it again.
Right.
So sometimes just finding different things that you can help to ground yourself, whether it's through writing, through meditation, through prayer, through aromatherapy, by, you know, sounds and things like that. It's just a overall practice that doesn't always get resolved like that same journaling session. But just being able to practice self-trust and trust your intuition as far as leading you to the things where you can express or explore that helps you to ground yourself. That's kind of some of the things that I go through when I feel myself, because sometimes I'm just like, okay, I wrote it out and I'm still tripping, you know what I mean? Like, I just vented and I'm still overthinking. And then now it's just like, okay, let me just dance. Like, maybe I just want to I'm just going to work on just dancing and releasing or stretching. That's something else that really helps, especially when I'm really upset. I kind of release tension through stretching, because it's like, you do a certain stretch, focus on it. You know, sometimes stretching can hurt. Like, you know, breathing through that sometimes gives my mind a different place to release. So those are just some things as well. Just finding how you can flow for yourself.
Yeah, and I went to AMDA. It was a College for Acting, it's American Musical and Dramatic Academy, and we had a class we took called VPS, Vocal Production. And it was really like a class all about speaking, you know, the dialect of speaking and getting into your body and just how to relax. And we would do what we call tremors. And one time, I'll tell y'all, okay, I don't know how to control my thoughts. Sometimes they just come out. So I remember my teacher getting on the floor, and when you tremor, you literally, your body is shaking. You know how if you do like a stretch or a certain exercise and you feel the pain and you like feel yourself getting weak, that's a tremor. So they were teaching us how to let the tremor happen. And you could cry. People were crying randomly. Some people would laugh because your body holds that muscle memory. So sometimes, say like you might feel that tremor in your chest because you've held in pain or tears that you haven't released. So that would be the crying. Or maybe like there's something that you held in your stomach, like a laugh. You had to holding your laugh for too long, you will feel that, or if your arms shake because, you know, maybe you had to like hold that tension in so long there. So I can definitely relate to like your body releasing once your mind starts to release. And when my teacher first did it, y'all, she was just shaking. I said, this is witchcraft. I can't be in here. My friends was like, Amber, stop. I was like, look at her. She's possessed. No, because she was like shaking, y'all. She was like, just let it go. Just relax. And I'm, you know, this Israelite girl. I had my long skirts on at the time. I had my tassels. And I was like, I'm not supposed to be in here. They got me in the wrong class. But it actually, I was like, I learned so much. And I also learned not to be biased. You know, I also learned that, hold on now, this is her body releasing. Like, this is a natural reaction. There is nothing wrong with releasing. You know what I mean? And I was kind of uptight at the time. So I remember the first time I trembled and I was like, oh my gosh, she got me.
Wow.
But it helped.
That's an experience.
You know, all jokes aside, it did help. And it still helps. Sometimes, like, I'll do it, especially they teach us to do it before auditions, because you can be so nervous going into one that you just, you know, you'll mess up the words or something. So you have to get into a tremor position. I can't talk today, y'all. A tremor. What did I say? Tremor. You're tremoring. You're shaking, y'all. You gotta get into a tremor position. And then after that tremor, we release into child pose. And man, the thing is, you're minding your business in that class. Everyone has their yoga mats. You're not supposed to be worried about what the next person is doing. Because some people praying, some people screaming, some people crying. You're in your moment. You can choose that moment to either say your monologue or talk to yourself or thank yourself for getting through that hard pose that you just did. And it creates such a mental clarity, because then you're focused and your body has already released all the tension it needed to release. So now you're just focused on what you needed to think about. So I can vouch for what Toya just said. The release of stretching in your body. And man, our bodies are so amazing. Like the memory they hold of us, you know?
You ever find yourself just randomly crying? Or is that just me?
No, I do. I do.
But then I'll be wondering, where's that coming from? You know, and then I find myself like going into depth with myself, but it's like I'm wanting to find why. If I have a conversation, sometimes I'll be crying. Like, where is that coming from?
Holding it in.
You know, so it is that muscle memory. And it's just coming out. So trying to find those healthy releases, because it just reminds me, like, some people don't know how to do that. Some people don't have the time to stretch. So it's just like they do other things. So I'm glad that we do have these healthy, more beneficial ways to release things that our body are feeling.
I definitely consider crying a healthy release, but I can't cry all the time. I have to wait till I get to my room to cry. I can't cry in the middle of the grocery store.
And that's why though?
I did.
Why can't you cry?
I cry. Let me tell you. My good friend here.
I'm sorry.
And I love her. I love her, guys.
Sometimes I joke too much.
But it wasn't even that, because I had a moment, you know, things just weren't going right at the time. And, you know, I was just like, man, I'm over here by the dairy section in Walmart, and I find myself crying. Like, I'm crying. But I
said, she needs some milk.
And I was like, you know, I was literally spoiled, man. Like,
not laugh at that.
bro, like I wanted to, but at the time I was like, I'm
She
really
said
trying.
goodbye. I said, "Ooh, tonality."
For real, but it's just like, why not? If that's what my body's feeling like it needs right now, why can't I do that?
Yeah, it's not from childhood.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just like,
It's a great release.
Yeah.
How many times? That's what, and that's what I'm like too. Yeah, don't do that. Don't laugh. Don't be loud. And it's like, why?
yeah.
Why can't I express myself the way that my body? If you're crying, your body is telling you you need to cry. We have tear ducts for a reason.
Yeah.
So why do you have to wait to cry in private? Why, as a society, is it normal to act like everything is okay?
And you know what? I think I'll say me being in the military and being a woman in the military, and I think I can, I'm speaking for a lot of women in the service. We do have to hide our emotions.
Yeah.
Because women are stereotypically known to be emotional or sensitive, or they want to use the word bitchy instead of but to describe a man, it's assertive or strong or tough or whatever. So I did find myself in positions where I did have to hide tears back. And it's like I'm training myself because I'm so used to that release, like the tears, like, because I feel like what do they say? Crying is like it cleanses your soul.
Yeah.
And when they say that, I feel that, because it feels better after you cry.
Water
it
is
really
cleansing.
does. It feels much better. But there's just those times where I found myself in that, like I said, I feel like I'm training myself. I cannot cry. Like you feel it, and you're like,
I saw you
know what I'm
become a
saying?
soldier just now. When you started to speak about it, your entire body language changed.
and it's like you have no choice. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, like, being a woman in the military, it's just like, I don't know. It's like you feel that way, and it sucks, and that's why a lot of women don't stay in the service. They don't stay in because there's like this perception and this stigma of women, and we don't want to prove them right, and then what I'm saying, so it's really tough, and it does suck that I've had to put that, I had to restrain myself,
Especially in those moments where you wanted to.
Exactly.
Needed to.
Exactly.
I was supposed to.
Right.
Right. And I do commend myself to for doing that, because I feel stronger, like when it comes to like having like self-discipline to be able to be like, all right, no, chill out, you can't do that right now.
And that
And
kind
it's
of
just
goes back
crazy.
to that emotional control that you were talking about too. Like, but then there's like, all right, emotional control and then restraining. You know what I'm saying? Just like permitting myself to just not do this at all. So just like knowing when it's okay, because emotional control is good. We need to practice that.
Yes. Yes.
But just saying no, can't,
Right.
won't,
Right.
never. You
Yeah.
know, like that's just hurting us. You know what I'm saying? Because we're keeping all that in. We're not expressing. We're not letting our bodies do what it needs to do.
And I will say, it was definitely beneficial. Thank goodness for FaceTime when I was deployed, and like I was a soldier full time. I had to see these like the people that I worked with every day. So yes, in that moment it was like control, like no. But luckily when I got home and I went into that room, you know what I'm saying, got on that phone, and I'm like, I'm able to let it all out, or go to my notes and like let it all out. You know what I'm saying? So that is the beneficial part of it. But yeah, girl,
I
having to restrain in those moments.
Yeah. That emotional control that you were talking about too. Like, but then there's like, all right, emotional control and then restraining. You know what I'm saying? Just like permitting myself to just not do this at all. So just like knowing when it's okay, because emotional control is good. We need to practice that.
Yes. Yes.
But just saying no, can't,
Right.
won't,
Right.
never. You know, like that's just hurting us. You know what I'm saying? Because we're keeping all that in. We're not expressing. We're not letting our bodies do what it needs to do.
And I will say, it was definitely beneficial. Thank goodness for FaceTime when I was deployed, and like I was a soldier full time. I had to see these like the people that I worked with every day. So yes, in that moment it was like control, like no. But luckily when I got home and I went into that room, you know what I'm saying, got on that phone, and I'm like, I'm able to let it all out, or go to my notes and like let it all out. You know what I'm saying? So that is the beneficial part of it. But yeah, girl,
I found
having to
myself,
restrain in those moments.
as like being a mom, I tried to break those habits that I was taught, you know, like don't cry. So like with my son, I let him when I know he needs to. But when he's doing
let it out,
let it out. But like I understand because I don't want somebody to ever tell me stop. Well, I'm hurting. You know, I just ran and fell.
And then especially
you know, like
for boys,
exactly.
man, especially for boys.
You know, for my son, it's like I got to do it differently.
Right.
So I'm learning to just let him express because I feel like those times I didn't, or I was told not to, by whoever it may have been. But it's just like breaking those cycles, you know, and just knowing too where it starts. And a lot of stuff we built, we have come from our parents and just our family in general. So just trying to like really create a healthy environment, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you know, all the above. It takes a lot, but awareness is great though, because then you have this drive, you build up this drive to just want to do better and just be like, oh man, can't do this because I see, you know, how this has gotten me and where it's gotten me. So.
And where it's gotten the people before me. And
the desire to want to break those curses and just to do things differently. I mean, it keeps me going for sure. I'm like, oh man. And the benefits are great though, because it's like we're not losing, we're gaining.
Right.
You know, I'm gaining the emotional control. I'm gaining knowing when and where to do what. You know, just how to handle situations, how to communicate with people. Like, I feel like this is stuff we weren't really taught. We were just always taught to just hush.
And I want to say, after all that training too that I did, I still immediately brace up if I don't feel like I want to show quote unquote weakness. You know, I've had moments to where I felt like I didn't want someone to see that part of me, or I didn't want them to see me cry. Like, oh no, I'm good. Or like the strong black woman persona. You know what I mean? Ooh,
I don't like that one.
I don't like that one being called out, because what is that? You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like black women in particular, we feel like we've had to be strong, and historically we've had to be. And so it's just like this thing that's passed down to where it's like, okay, I don't have time to cry sometimes. I don't have time to sit in my emotions. I have to do this for me because nobody else will. So I can say through all that practice, like, you know, Toya said, it's a process. It's definitely a process.
I want to learn how to actually meditate effectively. Goldn.light, if you have any tips to help, I mean, because I know
being consistent with it.
Yeah,
being able to like actually.
Toya, help us out.
Sometimes I'll get there and it won't do it. Like, I just won't. I don't know how to not think. Like, you know.
I think that's where like the misconception, I guess, with journaling. I feel like there's not a right or wrong way to do it. Like, whether you do it in silence, whether you do it with music, whether you're laying down. You know, sometimes I'm meditating and it's not like a serene place. Like, I'm washing dishes, I'm in the shower, and I'm in deep thought. I still call that a meditation.
Okay.
But I think the point to think that you're not gonna have any thoughts, I just feel like that's not
human
meditation necessarily. But for me, it's more so being able to. It's like traveling and being able to maneuver through thoughts as you're still having them. So I really don't sit and think like, okay, I'm gonna just be quiet and I'm not gonna think anything and it's just gonna be peaceful. It's more so of a way of where you're tapping into certain visuals. You are following your thoughts. Anytime you feel like you're getting off track, it's okay, you know, pull yourself back in, you know, and it just depends on how you want to meditate and what you're meditating on. You know, you can take a question that you want to focus on or a feeling and sit and meditate with that. And like I said, if you feel yourself going a little bit off track, ask yourself the question again and come back into the meditation. Sometimes I don't have something that I'm necessarily starting, but I sit to see, okay, where are we going to travel today? You know, where are my thoughts going to take me, and what are some of the things that I'm going to see? I do have a blog post that's about meditation, but in short, it's practice, really. You know, even if you're starting small, like 5 to 10 minutes every day, you know, then work your way up to 30 minutes, and then, you know, work your way up to an hour, you know, just as you're gradually doing. But I think it's more so something that you do have to continue to do, because it's something that you have to strengthen within yourself with discipline. And, you know, being able to be a little bit consistent with it helps your routine with how you're managing the things that is going on within you, if that makes sense.
Where can we find your blog post?
It's on Goldn.light, so GOLDNLIGHT, selfcare.com. I feel like one of the things that's important as well with meditation is finding out really what works for you. And I know sometimes starting out, you know, we kind of look at different things, which is completely okay, but being able to move from information with things that resonate, you know? So if you're coming across something and it resonates with you, you try it and it opens you up to something else that you feel resonates with you even more. Be able to follow your intuition in that way is good as well. But not focusing on it having to look or feel a certain way. So kind of removing what you think you know about meditation, what you may have heard about meditation, and really allow it to become a sacred practice for yourself. Because everybody's different, you know?
Right. And I like that you say, you know, washing dishes and listen to music, because I listen to music all the time. Yeah. And I do feel like I'm somewhere else when I'm listening to it, you know? So just, now I'm going to say I'm meditating. Right. I'm not just listening to music, you know?
I'm so glad you said that, Toya, because I did find myself before sitting and trying to force myself to not think about a thing. I thought that was meditating. I thought that was meditating. But now I can say, I mean, those times that I'm driving and reflecting on myself and reflecting on my thoughts in my life and what, you know what I'm saying, calmly and peacefully, and it's just me. That's meditating.
I definitely thought, dang, you got a lot of work to do, Amber, because you can't even shut up in your head. Like, you know, but
that's hard.
That makes sense too, because when I like read the scriptures, which I always refer back to that, when I'm reading the Bible, it says meditate on the word. So it's like, okay, how can you clear your mind and meditate on the word at the same time? But it's like you're taking whatever you're focused on at that moment, you're meditating on it, because to meditate is just to pay attention. I feel, you know, to me.
And I feel like too, the more you get through the practice of being one with your thoughts, flowing through your thoughts, you know, removing unwanted thoughts, questioning other thoughts, and just being able, it's like almost like you're sensing your own head and you're being able to control the, that's how I feel like sometimes it's like I'm sitting still or within is being still, and I'm maneuvering my thoughts. I'm pulling things to me, I'm pulling things away, I'm questioning certain things, you know, and it's just being able to be comfortable with doing that, and it allows you to be more in tune as well, to where you do get to a place where, not to say that you don't have any thoughts, but it's like a peace with your thoughts, if that makes sense, because the way that you're able to kind of master yourself within through thoughts.
Clearing that confusion, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
So how do you set the vibe when you meditate? You light a candle, you know, sip a cup of tea, what you do?
For me, if I'm like, because I try to treat things as, sometimes aesthetics help me to relax. So if it's not like, sometimes I do shower meditations, and sometimes it'll be a candlelit shower in the shower. So I'll have a couple candles in the bathroom. I won't actually put on the physical light. And I'll have, you know, music playing. Usually, sometimes most of the times music without words. But sometimes when I'm in my room, I'm like, I don't know, it makes it seem like it's like a self-care ritual. And I want to go into a meditation, and, you know, aromatherapy is really big for me, because certain smells I notice, which lately is like tree resin smells within that category, are really soothing and relaxing for me. And then also running water, like, so sounds of water is soothing to me as well. So when I have the time and space to, like, okay, tonight I'm meditating, I'm journaling, like, I want to feel the vibe, you know, that's also part of my personality when I want to create. So I like to create a vibe. I like to create an atmosphere. So yes, sometimes I'm lighting candles. Sometimes I use my salt lamps because they're typically always on. So naturally at night, the salt lamps, give that nice little glow when there's no other light on. Aromatherapy, like I said, and then certain sounds. Now there's times where like I don't have to do any of that, because I also don't want to get stuck in like I'm not gonna meditate until I have like a whole
I gotta have this.
Like, okay, you need to get up and just be still, and I can do it outside. I like being in nature and meditating as well. So it's not a set way, I would say, but I try to keep it with something that resonates for that particular moment, and whatever that looks like, I trust that's what I need.
Okay.
I was just going to ask, because when you were talking about set, I was going to ask, like, do you journal and meditate every day? Like, is that a part of your everyday routine?
No. So that's another thing I tell, people as well, that if you're not journaling every day, don't be too hard on yourself to say that you're not good at this or this is not something you can keep up with. The most important thing is that you're being obedient to your spirit, so there's some moments where self-care or releasing for me isn't journaling and it isn't meditating. It may be I feel led to go somewhere or do something that's for myself, and that's where I receive the message. That's where I receive clarification. So being able to trust your intuition and to be obedient to what your spirit is telling you is most important. So when I do feel the urge to write, sometimes it's a lot, and I am writing every day. But then there's sometimes where I only wrote 3 times throughout the week, but I've been in heavy meditation throughout the week. So it's really, that's why I always tell people, flow to your flow. And to kind of understand that is the more you are aware of yourself, So when your spirit is saying to write, you should listen and write. Because there'll be times where like my spirit is like, I'm running to go write something, and my spirit's like, be still. But I want to go write because I feel like I'm not gonna remember everything. But my spirit wants me to just listen, Right. And then there's moments where it's like, girl, if you don't get out this bed and write,
right.
So it's
following the lead of your spirit.
Yes. And I will say though, if you are someone who may not be as familiar what they may look like or what that is, then you should fall into a practice of trying to journal every day, because if you have like no structure and no discipline, you may not be able to get into a good habit. And I feel like to build a habit, you first need to have structure. So that's something that I can't tell everybody to do that because everybody's different. So I like to give different angles. But if you are in a place where like you're not sure what to do, how to go about it, then I would suggest to journal every day, and make it into something that is a practice for you. So whether you prefer to journal in the morning, do you want to journal at night? Do you want to do it as a midday thing? Do you want to just work on gratitude and maybe that's what you're focusing your journaling on? Do you want to go throughout your entire day and then have a reflection at the end of the day? So there's so many different practices, there's so many different methods, and starting somewhere is just a place to start because I feel like it's going to open you up to other things that you can realize, like, this is for me, I found my rhythm in this.
So my thing is, I have a bunch of journals, a bunch of notebooks. I just grab them. But I mean, they're just sitting. Some of them now, because I'm a note taker. Now, I'll take some notes anytime. But to actually sit down and write, I'm actually going to try to practice that and actually do that and apply it. I'm going to do that. So friends, make me, help me be accountable.
I do want to bring back up the phone, your notes. So even if maybe you can't really physically go sit down and actually go grab your book or anything, you're like standing in the kitchen and you're like something just popped in your head. And recording too, just bringing that out or whatever, what I'm saying, or typing that down. I use my notes a lot.
I need to start doing that. Yeah. So my thing is, I do have like different journals that actually have like gratitude thoughts and stuff like that? Is it better to have things separate, or just have something where you can just go to and you don't have to worry about, writing in this particular book this day? Because sometimes I feel like we'll be too organized and we're missing like actually journaling. We're just more worried about the structure of it all.
Right. I will say, like, I know Amber was saying, like, I'm really organized with journaling, but in actuality, I can be very sporadic. I have a lot of journals, and I will buy a journal every day.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Goldn.light, look, I mean, Toya, I pictured you. You have such a vibrant spirit. I feel like people gravitate towards you because it's funny how you can like have this idea of someone. I just picture her like with flowers everywhere, like holding meditations and teaching people to journal, and like that's your everyday routine. She just has candles lit. She has like organized journals for this thing, get that thing.
I tried to. There's moments because it's like part of me, and I had this balance between being very sporadic or free spirit, and I don't want routine. I want to go with the flow. And then there's a part of me that's like, okay, you've been going with the flow too much and you need a little bit of structure. And I fall into that. But then it's like, sometimes I'm too anal on like the structure and the pattern.
That's me.
Like the lines gotta be straight. I think that's my Virgo tendency with certain things, like being overly critical and a perfectionist, So I have journals to where like usually when I get a journal and it's brand new, if I didn't already purchase it with an idea of what I was writing it for, it will just stay there. Then when I get to a point where like, okay, you know what? This is what this journal is going to be. And I will start writing in it. And it will start off on like, okay, this journal is going to be like for these type of thoughts and reflections and things like that. But it doesn't always make it through the whole book like that. Like, it turns into a lot of ideas are building in there. So I allow that part to be as free as that. But there's sometimes where like, I want to dedicate a journal just to a dream journal. And I still haven't even done that as, perfect as I would want to in a sense. But sometimes when I reread my journals, I had this idea of maybe like putting certain sticky notes in it to have points of like what I'm talking about, just to help me recognize certain patterns that I have with what I write about.
That's a good idea.
It's really, I feel like it's hard for me to keep one journal as one particular topic because my thoughts are never like linear like that. Like this journal's always going to be about my personal growth. Like no, because it's going to have something else in there, So I feel like it's okay if it's not organized to like a specific thing, unless you are like, I always have this idea of having a journal that is one that I can pass down. And I think that one would be a little bit more structured in a way as far as what I want to use it for and me actually keeping it in that fashion because of what I intend to use it for. But still, I will pass down any of my journals if I really, really wanted to. But I think it's okay to be sporadic. It's okay to be a little over the place if it works for you. Unless you just no, this journal can only be poems. And then I don't even write with like a complete like structured way. Like in one prompt or one thought, it starts off like I'm writing in a paragraph. And then because of how my thoughts may flow, now I'm making a list. And then I'm drawing a picture. And then I'm connecting this arrow to this point because then something else drops.
Girl, how you mean?
I'm telling you, check out her blog.
I like that because I do struggle with I guess being a perfectionist. That is the Virgo in me, and it is a downfall a lot of the times because I'm always trying to desire something that is not there, because we're not perfect. But I'm always striving, I'm gonna get there. So, and I've been trying. That's one of the things that I've been noticing about myself, and just being okay with just not being perfect,
because it can make you stagnant.
Yes, and just accepting where I am right now, just being accepting of the things that I have, who's around me. I'm not there yet, but I have a desire, so I like that you said that because with me and journaling, it's like, all right, I'm writing, all right, this is my gratitude book. I'm thinking about something else. Nope, gotta go grab that one. You know what I'm saying? And I'm stopping just to go get another book, but I want to be in that moment. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to deal with that, not having to just be perfect. And I don't know where the fuck that comes from.
Just letting it flow.
Yourself.
Bro.
It comes from yourself.
Bro, like what? Yeah. Man.
I love that idea of passing down a journal, because I always had the thought, I love words as a writer, as a singer, as an author. Look out to my horn a little bit. I love words and how words make people feel, you know. So I always imagine, like, you know, old school, writing down a journal, maybe passing it down to like one of my grandkids or my daughter or something. You know, like I think that's so beautiful. I would have loved to have had a blueprint of, oh my gosh, such and such went through this too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love that idea.
You know, my grandma, she had a journal, like a kind of a diary, and she had the entry and the dates and all that stuff. My mom has it, and it goes back to like 70s, 80s, and I'm waiting to read it. She's not letting me read it because she hasn't read it first. I'm like, look, you need to hurry up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read it. Like I'm really
I love
interested
that,
because, like you said,
Wow, that's beautiful.
Words can like make this picture.
Yeah.
And like I know, like just by reading it, I'll feel like I can feel what she's feeling.
Like you
I
know
feel like
her
I'm
more.
there.
Yeah.
And maybe maybe she might help me get through something. Maybe we went through a similar, phase of time or situation or whatever. And I think that's a great idea to passing, journals on and stuff like that, because you might be helping somebody out.
Definitely.
Yeah, right.
Or what even happened to just writing letters?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I love letters.
Yeah.
girl, I write love letters. Look, I love writing love letters.
Yes.
I have a letter
Real.
in my possession. I have a letter from my grandpa when he was like in the military from like way a long time ago. I don't even know what year it was. Probably like the 50s, 60s. Not sure, but he wrote a letter to my grandmother, and like it has the date on it, and like he's talking, asking about the kids, and my grandma's passed on now.
Yeah.
But so it's like it was so beautiful to see that, and it's like, okay, yeah, text messages, but how many phones have we like bought another phone or transferred over? And you're just like, okay, I have my iCloud, but to have that in your possession is, oh my gosh, this person
I can just
held
pull
this
this
piece
out.
of paper.
Yeah.
They took ink, and this is their handwriting.
Right.
This is what their soul, their personality crafted.
It's poured out.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still have like a
love
book.
things, letters, notes, cards, like just things that have that intimate touch to it. 'Cause like you said, being able to open a letter and you're reading words, you're looking at the handwriting, and it's just a different type of feeling that a text message can't always convey. Even though we can get heartfelt messages and still read them and things like that, but I love that aspect of. That's why even like with my self-care cards and like with the packages, one of my favorite things is actually writing personal notes to each person. So
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that
handwriting
you do that
different.
as well. Talk a little bit more about that, about your self-care cards. What's the idea around that?
Yes, it started pretty much through journaling. Being a lot of the information and the stuff that I put into the cards comes from my journey personally, and then also things that I've written in my journal. So I wanted to create something that pushed people to look within, push people to question things about themselves, to work through inner work and healing and things like that, as well as helping them to be encouraged on their journey. So the self-care cards I created in a way where there's 3 different card types, just so that we can see self-care as a full scope, because sometimes I need to create something that touched on different parts of that. So with the 3 card types, you have your journal prompts and meditation. So things that you can reflect on, things that you can write about. Then you also have what I like to call as light talk. And light talk is not only just like the beautiful things or the things that are, happy or light felt, but sometimes light talk is a way to shine something in the darkness, something to let you go a little bit deeper to think about, but also still encourage you to keep going. And then the last card type is self-care, which focuses on like physical things that you can do, you know. So within the scope of the cards, the way that you use them is really just pulling a card a day. That's the
so
standard
dope.
way.
That's so dope.
And you basically would try to incorporate a little bit of self-care every day, you know, in a small way. Now sometimes the cards kind of get like, I've had people tell me from like the older ones, like, girl, I'm still working on the same journal prompt for 3 days. So sometimes that happens, like you're still working on, you know, one particular card for that one time frame. Or I would say over a course of a few days or something like that. So there's different ways to use them. And also encouraging finding ways that work for yourself. But the overall point is really to add a little bit of self-care every day. Because I feel like it's so easy for us to get consumed by our daily lives and neglect that part of ourselves, where we're not checking in, we're not honoring our needs, we're not honoring our emotions. We're doing a lot of covering up to get by, you know? And it's important for our mental health and our well-being that we do take moments to love on ourselves, to speak to ourselves, to check in with ourselves and things like that.
Definitely. I love that. I have to get my self-care cards.
I would say that's something that I would look forward to. Like,
y'all make sure y'all get y'all
if I'm having a bad day.
So this is my 3rd edition. When I first started, it was underneath when I had a jewelry business, and I was kind of like intertwining self-care with that. And then eventually I kind of just went full-fledged into my self-care business. So this is actually my 3rd edition. So this is called the Honor Deck. And it's about 30 cards. And 3 different card types that I mentioned. Now with this particular deck, it actually comes with a guidebook. And this was something where like the idea came to me to do this, but I was so eager to have the cards that I was just like, nah, I'm just gonna drop the cards and we'll do that another time. The spirit was like, nah, you be patient and put this together. And I'm so glad that I did, because I was able to pour more into this entire aspect of the cards. So the guidebook is a small guidebook, but it includes like gratitude affirmation. It includes the different card types and what they do, different ways that you can use them. You can use them with yourself. You can use them in groups where you can pull a card and you're asking, you know, people that you want to
This is amazing.
That's powerful as well. And then the great thing about it as well is what I call expansion insights. So inside the book, there's additional information for every single card that includes additional journal prompts. It may be voice memos or meditation reflections or exercises. It has other physical self-care acts that you can do to incorporate into your routine. That's for specifically like the self-care cards. And then it also has, like for example, for Light Talk, it has these grouping of statements. And sometimes when you're working through what resonates and what connects and where your mind may go, this is where you can really strengthen that intuition and self-trust to really see and manage your thoughts and different things and what connects and what doesn't. Because sometimes one day something sounds like it connects and it works and we get something from it, but then we go through other experiences where something else may resonate a little bit deeper. So just being able to constantly check in with yourself and follow our thoughts and follow our emotions and our moods. So you can use the book with it, you can use it without. It just gives you that extra flexibility with your like personal self-care session. So I love to like, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna pull a card today, and I may, you know, just shuffle it. I may look at each card and just pull a specific one. So it's up to you on how you want to actually use them.
Okay. Sounds like the spirit said we need both of them together. So I think it's amazing how all that came to you, of course, working through the spirit, came to you to write this down. And I can really tell that this is your passion, you know? Like, you seem really passionate about this and, like, so sure. And, man, I can see you changing people's mindsets, or helping people to change their own mindsets just by introducing a more organized way. I know you said you feel like you're not that organized with it, but a more organized way to journal, you know, or just to, like you said, do that inner reflection to know where to start. Because like Destiny was referring to earlier, some people just don't know where to start.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, that's what I'm thinking this whole time. That's like you're introducing that structure to someone that needs that, like doesn't really know like what direction to take.
And you give me the
those
prompts
cards.
too with
Yeah.
the cards.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean that whole
That's
package,
really
like
helpful.
you really did that. That's
very
inspiring,
helpful.
honestly.
Thank
You just inspired me for real.
Definitely.
Let me
Just
go ahead and place
check
my
out those
order.
cards.
Hold on.
Tea party needs
I
some
know.
cards.
I'm taking my order. Listen, it's
For real. We
Definitely see how.
make sure you guys, tea partiers, make sure you guys get these journal prompt cards, especially if you watched our first episode on self-care, because I wish we knew about this then.
That goes hand in hand.
Yeah, because we were talking about doing like a self-care kit, and honestly, look, that's going to be a conversation with us. But honestly, that would definitely be something that could be included into that. Wow, I love that. I love that idea. I love that.
I'm so glad that we got to hear that from you,
Yeah,
because
that
I
we
would
got to
never
talk
know.
to you, and thank you for being a part of the Tea Party podcast and for coming on and sharing all those things. And is there anything else you would like to share with us?
I would say too, just as a tip or suggestion with journaling, if you're wanting to, I have a lot of journal prompts on my website. So whether you follow the Write It Down series,
Oh, I do. You know what we're about to do now. Take a pic. Write it down. Okay.
She's in it.
That's something like just the great. You can either follow. I share a post I share a prompt. Every Sunday, and then I also interact by sharing my reflection from the prompt as well. So I'm actually doing the journal prompts with everybody that is doing it. Hopefully next month I want to start like weekly Zoom sessions to where those who are interested in journaling, whether you're just starting out or you've been doing it for some time, where we can meet together once a week. Whenever you can join, I want to leave it open every week to discuss the prompt, because I also feel like sharing is a big part of journaling as well, and just being able to help expand our own perspective by, what one particular question may have. Like, not too long, a couple days ago, I did a live with another sister, and we did a live journaling session, and one of the journal prompts was, does now belong to you? And we had completely different answers. I went in the direction of thinking of attachments and not wanting to be attached to things and being present. And hers was more like, yeah, this is my time now, but it was still something we were able to exchange and resonate. So just being able to share is a big part of, journaling and self-care and healing. But the Write It Down series is a great place to start if you want to kind of jump in at any week and start writing, or if you want to do journaling. And I used to have a journal and audio challenge. That part is still on my website, where you basically would answer the prompt through a voice memo and then replay it and then journal your reflection. So it's a little bit of both with that. So if you don't know where to start and you need some prompts to get started, you're not used to free flowing, then I would definitely say check out my website, or just connect and engage on Instagram and things like that.
Definitely. Make sure you guys follow Goldn.light, or Toya, aka Goldn.light, on Instagram at Goldn.light. She has a fantastic Instagram page. Subscribe to her YouTube. Go and follow the blog. Everything Toya, everything Goldn.light get, because I'm telling you, this conversation has definitely done a lot for me. I'm going to put some of these things into play. I took all type of notes over here, y'all. Okay, so thank you so much.
Toya, I want you to know, thank you for not making the meditation thing so scary, because sometimes we just have a fear of
it can be intimidating.
Yeah, it is intimidating, and just shedding that light that is not as scary as we imagined it. It is not as hard either. So I thank you for that, because it's kind of gonna encourage me to just try it more often.
Definitely.
So I appreciate you for that.
All praise to the Most High. Well, okay, thank you for joining us today, and we hope that you have a good day. Guys, subscribe, follow Goldn.light. And if you haven't followed the Tea Party Podcast page, do that as well. Thank you so much for joining the Tea Party Podcast. Welcome back, ladies.
Thank you.
I'll be back.
I am so happy to be back at this table with you all, and it has been it feels like a long, long journey since we've been gone. I know we kind of left the viewers probably wondering what happened. I've got so many inboxes, so many stops in random places. I didn't even know that many people were watching.
Yeah.
You know, like I've been out and had someone just be like, when are you going to start Tea Party Podcast again? You know what I mean?
That's dope.
So a lot happened. And a lot was happening, and I felt like a hypocrite. I was trying to help people, and I wasn't helping myself. And I was trying to tell people how to fill their cups, and mine was empty. And someone made a joke. They were like, "Are you guys ever going to drink tea?"
That's funny.
No,
I was like,
we drink
y'all
wine.
trying.
We drink wine. This is
It's just the name
We
of
No, but we for real should have some tea. Like,
we love
we
tea.
gonna set it up
We're
like
gonna
that.
drink some tea, but I think we were drinking wine because I just put the wine on the table at the time. Also, I felt like we needed the wine. The Bible says you use the wine for your ailments, and I have to let you guys know. I feel like this is such an intimate setting that I feel like I owe you guys an explanation of what the hell happened to the Tea Party Podcast. As you probably caught from the first episode, we just wanted to get the ball rolling. This was something that I had on my heart for a long time starting, and I started it in the middle of chaos. And I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I had personal things happening around me with friends who were dealing with personal things in their lives and horrible incidents that I had to immediately be there for. So I found myself in each episode when I would watch back talking about the same thing. Healing. How to heal. What it means to heal. Hurt. Being hurt. Why did I get hurt? And it was just like, girl, this is a whole new episode. We're not even talking about that. Mm-hmm. So I felt like having that first episode back be about healing was like, okay, let's just put it on the table. You know what I mean? Let's just talk about what it actually means to heal, because it's easy to say I'm healing and to not do anything towards healing besides just say you're healing. Mm-hmm. So the Tea Party Podcast stopped because I had to take time to refill my cup. And I feel like anybody who's trying to help you with anything can't tell you not a damn thing until they check themselves first. So I do apologize for leaving everything so suddenly, but we have so much in store for you guys that, man, I'm happy that you're around. I'm happy that you're tuned in. I am proud to have you seated at the table with us, because I feel like whenever we're here, I'm here with my girls, you know, my girls who are there for me. Both of these ladies have been so impactful for me through everything. They're probably some of the only women or some of the only people in my lives who see me at my most vulnerable, see me at my craziest, and they're still just like, Amber, we love you. And I was like, why? But
this is real. This is real energy right here. This is real energy. This is just real love.
Most definitely real friendship, real sisterhood.
So blessed, so blessed.
Yeah, definitely blessed. So I just wanted to touch that because I feel like I owed you guys that, and I owed you guys that because I didn't just stop with, you know, the Tea Party Podcast with you guys. I kind of had Destiny around y'all like, hey, when are we filming again? And meanwhile, I am like in a dark corner. You know what I mean? I'm running around like a chicken with his head cut off, and I'm just trying to do multiple things at one time. And I just was not here. I wasn't present. I was acting, and that's not what the Tea Party Podcast is about. I like being real with you guys. You need to know that not everything is good. Not everything is perfect. Not everything is all right. But every day, because of the grace of the Most High, I am able to try. I am able to refill my cup. I am able to be given my daily bread. To be able, I have good friends as well. I feel like that's very vital, very important to move forward and to refilling your cup. The thing is, you have to know what you're filling your cup with. You know what I mean? What are you filling your cup up with? What are you putting back into yourself? Especially if you're a giver. You know, especially if you're just giving to everybody else. What are you filling your cup with? Because you can be driving your car all day, but if you put the wrong gas in your tank, you're going to break down at some point. So,
man,
yeah.
y'all appreciate the much transparency right here. This is real. This is real.
Yeah.
This is real. And we all go through stuff. Y'all know. Like, we all go through things. We all go through stuff.
And
y'all know.
They know.
Don't y'all dare try to act like y'all don't know. Y'all know we human. You know what I'm saying? So for real, this is straight transparency. And I appreciate it.
But
That's all love.
it's a blessing to be back. You know what I'm saying? I love being with you ladies.
Yes.
And we're ready to chop it up.
We about to chop it up.
Let's
So
get it.
so into healing, because we talked about healing with Goldn.light. You know, and that was really, really special. Thank you, Toya, again for coming on. You guys make sure that you get your journal prompt cards. Please order from her website, Goldn.lightselfcare.com. Do you guys believe in karma though? Because with healing, you got that back end, right? Or not even karma per se, but that everything that goes around comes around.
Full circle.
Full circle. You know, I feel like the scriptures talk about a lot how, and when I refer to the scriptures, I'm referring to all the scriptures, you know, not just the Bible, but the Quran and all the lost texts that were taken out of the Bible. That's another episode. But I feel like it talks a lot about you do to others as you would want done to you. So if you're not doing that, some type of law of attraction gotta happen.
Mm-hmm.
If you putting out bad energy coming back some type of way. Even if you don't think you putting out bad energy, sometimes you know mentally in your mind that's not the thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I feel like at some point it comes full circle. What do you ladies think about that? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm a firm believer in it.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I am too. I do believe what you put into it, you get out.
Yeah.
But I do believe that things intercept that cycle of karma, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you can't be like, oh, well, I'm doing good, but this is something bad that keeps happening to me, or this just happened to me. Like, I'm not receiving 100% good. It's not going to be that way.
Right.
You know, there's going to be things that do intercept that, but over time, your mindset starts to change.
Mm-hmm.
And to be more positive, and you are accepting those good things that are happening, because I'm like we were saying before, I mean, you know, I focus on negative things a lot.
Right.
There's good things happening still, definitely.
Yeah, it doesn't
You know what I'm
mean
saying?
that just because something bad happens, it means you deserve it or you're a
right,
bad person.
right, exactly.
Yeah, sometimes
Exactly.
it's not always black and white.
Right.
You know what I mean? Bad things
Mhm.
can happen to good people too.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I mean by karma, personally, is just like making sure you're not just being a bad person, man, or not being kind. I feel like in this society, in this world in general, people don't show compassion a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I found, especially in the healthcare industry too, because certain situations, like, there are not a lot of compassionate nurses, doctors, people like that. There's not a lot of compassionate people in general. And it's just like, what happened to humanity? Or has it always been this way and I just never had to pay attention to it? It's like,
I think when you have a good heart, though, you kind of just see that. I mean, personally, like, if someone's doing something bad, I'm like, oh no, that's not right. I gotta do better. I gotta do this or whatever. So like, I see this, but I'm acting totally different. So, I mean, yeah, the healthcare system, you know, they need some work. But when I see somebody, I'm making sure I'm going to help. You know, that's, I guess it's the intentions. But I do feel like, I mean, with karma, you gotta be ready to face whatever comes too, either way. If you dish it out, you gotta be able to take it. You have to. And I feel like a lot of people feel like they can just dish, and ain't nothing coming back.
Right. A lot of people don't think about
They don't think about it.
They don't
I
think
think-
about it.
Maybe they be so wrapped up in the moment of doing it or something.
they
I don't know.
I
Or
think
they-
it's-
or they don't
sometimes it's
care.
that sense of not caring.
Yeah.
You know
or
what I
not
mean?
even
Do people really
realizing
not
it.
care though?
Like,
Or they
thinking-
don't know.
Yeah, or thinking they're invincible. Some
Yeah.
people don't even have like a spiritual grounding to where they just do shit. Like, you know what I mean? Some people are like that. A lot of guys are like that too. Like, you know what I mean? Females too, though. A lot of females are some dirty people, man. Like, but I feel like, man.
I wonder if they do think about that, like when something bad happens and they're like, man, it's like, dang, I guess that's what I get kind of for treating that person that way. Like, it makes you wonder, like, they really think about that? Are they like think about how they treat other people, or is it like this oblivious thing that's, you know, going on, or they just don't, like you were saying, they don't care. Because I think there is those people there that like they know they're being, you know, asinine, but they're like, oh, well, you know, they don't care.
I feel like, because I've known somebody that's experiencing like some karma from their actions in the past, and it's just like they have to sit with it now. You know, they kind of realize, well, it is what it is. They took their loss and all that, but it's just like, what do you do after the karma?
Yeah.
You know, how are you going to change your decision making moving forward? And I think that plays a huge role too in what you receive again, because it's like, okay, are you going to keep at this? Or are you going to move and take the lesson too? So ultimately, it's, to me, karma is just how you handle the situations that come to you.
Right.
That's just it.
That's the thing, Des, because it's like, do they know that is what they're receiving because that's what they're dishing out? I feel like that's a big thing, because if they don't know that, oh, this is happening to me, because some people are probably just like, oh, this just keeps, why me? Well, it's maybe it's you because of, you know, what you're dishing out to other people and into the atmosphere. And I feel like it does take someone to be able to tell them, like, hey, maybe it is that, or maybe, you know, you have been, you know,
or just that self-accountability.
Exactly. That a lot of people lack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
you gotta be accountable. You got to.
I definitely, I met someone, his tone, and I don't think he really realized it, but how he came across to other people, I knew it was kind of like he's being a jerk. I'm like, hey, like, just to let you know, I mean, your tone kind of comes off this way. I don't know if you know that or not, but I'm just letting you know. He's like, oh, no, I didn't know that, you know?
It does take something.
Yeah, like, so he's like, okay, like, you know, I'll like try to pay attention to that more. So a lot of people don't really look, but and other people they're like, oh, he's a jerk, he's a woo and he's not knowing, like, you know what I'm saying?
But
like,
it goes back to the correction and how people correct you too, because you got to keep good people around you that if they see that something's off, they'll come to you out of love. Worst case scenario. So say. No, it's light. But it's light. Okay, so say your friend is needing someone to help her or him, her spouse's mother.
Okay.
And this is your friend, y'all been like, y'all cool. Usually you with it. Usually, you know, phone call, you there.
Listen.
But the mom is your mom's best friend. Are you stepping? Or are you going to be like, oh, no, sis, I can't because that's so-and-so. But you got this relationship with your girl, you know. She's like, no, you know, she talking crazy. Whatever, you know. She don't want me to be with her son.
What did she do, though?
Yeah, it depends on what she did.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Because if they just had words, that's not really my situation, depending on what
it's
the
your
words.
girl calling.
It's my girl calling, but at the same time, that's my mama's best friend, which means that's my mom's best friend. She probably been around for a long time. Yeah. She's probably seen as an auntie or something. So out of respect for an elder type thing, I can't just be like, come on, let's pull up like I would on any other situation.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Wisdom. I like your
I
answer.
would definitely try to de-escalate. Trying to decipher, like, what's going on? Some other alternative, like, you know, options. You know what I'm saying? Because it does depend on, like you said, what it was. Because if it was words, like you said, then that's not as severe as in, you know what I'm saying?
Or something like that.
Yeah. Or, like, stole from you. Or, like, some straight disrespectful stuff. Like, you know. All the way left.
Look, so y'all respecting y'all's elders?
I got to. I have to.
Okay, y'all stepping right.
Also, I mean, because what are we doing to get revenge? That might catch back up on us. That's later on.
Back to that karma.
It might come back to us like, dang, why did we do that? Wasn't even worth. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
especially if I'm working on being a better person. I can't do that.
I can't do that.
Nah, I'm gonna have to rock with my mama's friend.
Yeah,
we got respect.
And my homegirl just gonna have to understand, because why you trying to put me in that situation anyway? Why you trying to put me in that position?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, okay. I know I can count on my friends to think clearly.
Look. Okay, then, so boom. Okay, you meet someone. Okay, you meet a guy. He's significantly older than you, okay? You know? And so you're getting to know each other. You're really growing to like them. You meet their family, Okay, it's someone that
What?
you've had relations
Oh.
with.
The son?
Wait. Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yes.
His son?
Yeah, his son.
You
You meet the son. You. And it don't gotta be, you know what I'm saying? It could be like maybe y'all had feelings for each other at one point. Y'all were talking, y'all shared a kiss, y'all, you know what I'm saying? There was some physical intimacy there though. You can take it as far as you would like to. So, what would you do in that situation? Would you have to cut it off? Or would you be like straight up with him like, hey, that happened. You think we can move past it?
Hold on, it depends because was
I mean,
it a kiss or was it sex?
When was this?
That's a good point.
Like, was this elementary?
Okay, so I was thinking of us personally, right? Okay, so use me for example. Okay, so it was someone in like high school.
Oh, that's different because you starting to.
It was someone in high school. So we graduated, you know what I'm saying, like 2014 or whatever. So, I mean, you know, just for the scenario, I mean, I'm say sophomore year. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no high school sweetheart type deal. Y'all just had y'all got history.
Mm-hmm.
And this just happens to be, you know, your significant other's kid. And it's like, whoa.
How in love?
First of all, wait, because that's karma. Because why the end? I'm your daddy.
I was your stepmama.
Yeah.
Son. Okay.
I'm with it. I'm
with
She said.
Because I'm with my significant other. I love my.
How do you address the situation though? What do you do? What would you do? So you tell them like straight up, hey, like that happened. How do you feel about that? Where do we go from here?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to be transparent. Like, I'm going to have to put it on the floor. And be like, hey, you know, it was X amount of years ago. I'm here now with you. You know, if you want to continue, then we can. It has to be a mutual thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
definitely.
But I'm still with my man.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
That little peck or so, that can go down your throat.
Exactly.
I think it's a maturity thing, too.
Yeah.
Because if you really about to... You know what I'm saying? And I honestly, I don't know because I think if it was sex,
then
that's different.
I don't.
That's different, yeah.
That'd be tough. And then like you said, you mentioned like what's that bond like with you all this far? You know what I'm saying? Do I see you as my potential husband?
Right.
Are you am I having, you know what I'm saying? Are you on the fence? Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that depends too. Because it's like,
I would have to have the conversation.
Yeah,
you have to.
You can't just go around with a secret like that and then, I mean, because what if old dude is manipulative and he eyeing you and you eyeing him at the dinner table and he's just like waiting for the moment to be like, well, dad,
right? And you don't want to tell him, and then it makes it like, well, why didn't you tell me?
But as a woman as well, and a woman who respects herself, that's from jump. Hold on, I gotta
definitely. I gotta let you know.
Like, I gotta holler at you real quick. So.
Yeah. Definitely.
You gotta address that at the door.
For sure.
Definitely.
You know, my ass talk too much too sometimes.
I'm like, so listen, this is all.
Like, look, this is boom, 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 pow. Like, that's. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to be transparent though. You have to lay it on the floor, and you gotta respect your spouse's decision making after that. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully, you know, y'all's relationship is close enough. If the love is there, and y'all just like, all right,
Definitely.
Yeah,
it's nothing.
Dang, y'all's is kind of serious. Mine kind of. Okay, look.
Line it up, like yeah.
What would you do? Worst case scenario: there's a zombie apocalypse, but the roaches is the zombies.
Ooh, I'm getting dang
like big.
Are the flying
cockroaches? Yes,
roaches can go anywhere.
The ones that fly. And they
can get
everywhere. Imagine the Mall Street. What you gonna do?
Hazmat suit.
I mean, because as zombies start to advance, so like they building, they like coming together, colonies building bodies and stuff.
I'm getting my butt.
I'm about to go in prayer.
I'm gonna need that hazmat suit.
I need a blowtorch, bro. I'm definitely afraid of roaches. So like,
and them things just get everywhere, like everywhere.
The projects is done.
The ones that fly.
That everybody done in the project.
It's over.
As a kid, I
It's
would have been
over.
a goner.
Bro.
Child running them things, like, what?
Why you wiping your arm?
She said they're crawling.
She
I'm,
could
not
feel
gonna, I'm cold. I'm not gonna I'm just like, oh, no, that's me. If I'm watching it, I'm like, whew. Like,
What would y'all do? I want to know. Let us know in the comments.
yeah, let us know what y'all would do. Like, in all the scenarios, what would y'all do?
Yeah, I want to know because the husband and the son one. Okay.
Yeah, that's,
What y'all doing?
Ooh.
let us know, y'all.
Mm.
Also, I want to let you all know, we're accepting any other, just ideas on any other topics y'all want to hear from us.
Definitely.
What y'all want
The
to
floor's
hear?
open.
Yeah,
Definitely.
let us know. Be completely transparent with us.
Mhm.
We ain't gonna call you out. Girl,
Yeah, we will.
hey, we might be. Yeah.
So and so said.
We might.
Thank you guys for tuning into the Tea Party Podcast.
Yes, thank you
Ladies,
for joining
thank
us.
you for being here, for always being here. I just want to say
Of
that.
course.
As well.
Couldn't wait.
Me either.
Couldn't
I
wait.
was so
I
excited.
know, I was so ready to pod. I said I cannot wait to pod.
Man, we will be available on audio too, because I know people are like, it's a podcast, but where's the audio? It's coming,
Podcast.
y'all. All right.
No worries.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
See y'all next time.
Deuce.